Okay, my content lesson video is over the solar system, and this is a 4th grade science project. In this lesson, the students will learn the order of the planets by creating an acronym. They will learn facts about each planet using the Promethean flip chart, and we use the NASA and Planets iPad apps in order to answer evaluation questions. The students will also be asked to research and assign celestial body in order to produce a written report. This hits the Kansas State Standard for Earth and Space Science. It's Standard 1, Benchmark 2, Indicator 1. This also hits NET standards for students under creativity and innovation, as well as research and information fluency. It also hits a NET standards for teachers to facilitate and inspire student learning and creativity. The instructional objective is that the students will learn the order of the planets and create a report of one assigned celestial body object, scoring at least an 80% overall. The teacher preparation is to review the Promethean flip chart of the solar system and make any necessary changes. Gather materials such as construction paper, markers and crayons, pencils, erasers, the graphic organizers, iPads, and laptops, one for each student. You need to review the Planets and iPad app to ensure that there are enough facts provided for student research. Create a handout to explain the format for the research paper and create a rubric to score the report. The students will be actively engaged by taking part in class discussions, as well as they will take part in hands-on learning through technology using the Promethean board and the iPad apps for research. Here is what the handout looks like, explaining the format of the solar system for the students. It explains what each paragraph should include, as well as a works cited page that we did together in class. I also have a copy of the rubric where they're scored under the categories of their graphic organizers. They get grades on first rough draft of their report, organization, mechanics for their report, sources with their works cited page, and the use of the iPads. These are the graphic organizers I had them use. The ISP is for research. It stands for information, source, and page. And then the cluster web is to set up their paragraphs for their report. Adaptations for special learners. For my special needs students, for ADD and ADHD specifically, I would have the student work at a separate table with their back to the class to create their poster if necessary, and there's always para support if needed. For reteach opportunities, I would have individualized practice with the teacher over the order of the planets, discuss the assigned topics individually, including expectations and how to locate and report information. Enrichment opportunities would be to create a model of the solar system, including the galaxy, comets, meteors, constellations, etc. For assessment and evaluation, I'd have the students, they must identify each planet in the solar system, the sun, the moon, and comets. They would discuss their properties and their location in the solar system. We'll do this through group review on the Promethean. I would use teacher monitoring. The students will be asked to name the planets in order, and they will demonstrate this understanding by creating their own acronym. I would introduce to them the My Very Eager Mother Just Served Us Nachos, and they have to create their own acronym poster. The students also must develop a plan to research facts on their assigned topic using the graphic organizers provided, and then I will score the written reports against the rubric. The students must also complete a written paper pencil assessment on the solar system. And this is what that final quiz looks like. It also offers extra credit. Okay, and the lesson looks like this. It's a Promethean flip chart on the solar system. Okay, I start by asking the students, what is the solar system? And you can pull this little star up, and it says the solar system consists of the sun and those celestial objects bound to it by gravity, all of which formed from the collapse of a giant molecular cloud approximately 4.6 billion years ago. Okay, and then this says the 4 smaller inner planets are primarily composed of rock and metal. And this goes on to address each planet, discusses that the planet Mercury is the closest to the sun, and it's named after a Roman god. It has no natural satellites and no atmosphere. The next planet from the sun is Venus. It's the second closest from the sun, located between Earth and Mercury. It's named after a Roman goddess of love and beauty. It's covered with thick clouds, and it has no moons. Earth is the third planet from the sun. It's the 5th largest. It is the largest, most massive, and densest of the solar systems for terrestrial planets. It's the only place where life is known to exist. Mars is fourth from the Sun, second nearest to the Earth, and will probably be the first visited by humans. Okay, next we'll discuss that the 4 outer planets are called the gas giants. Jupiter would be the 5th planet from the Sun, is the largest in the solar system. It has a mass slightly less than 1,000th of the Sun, but is 2.5 times the mass of all the other planets combined. Saturn is the 6th planet and the 2nd largest. It's composed of hydrogen with small proportions of helium and trace elements. Uranus is the 7th from the Sun, the 3rd largest and 4th most massive. And then Neptune is the 8th planet from the Sun. It's also known as a blue giant. It's the 4th outermost of the gas giant planets, and it also has rings. The atmosphere is mostly hydrogen and helium, and in Roman mythology, Neptune was the god of the sea. And then this always brings up the conversation of why Pluto is no longer a planet, and it's because it doesn't have the correct orbital pattern or properties in order to be considered a planet anymore. So now it's considered a dwarf planet. That conversation came up in class. Okay, then we would talk about the Sun. The Sun is a star at the center of the solar system. It has a diameter of about 865,000 miles, which equals about 109 Earths. The Sun is actually white, but from the surface it appears yellow because of atmospheric scattering. This is a model of the planets in the universe in the order from the Sun, and then the students use the iPad app here. If they go to the NASA app, when it opens up, they see that exact same picture, so they could use this to discuss what the galaxy and the solar system looks like. Okay, and then we're going to go through this evaluation as a class. The students would use the Planets app on their iPad in order to answer these questions with me. I'm going to wait for it to load. And they can go through each one, and we would just go in order from the Sun to figure out which picture each one of these is. So they would just come up one at a time. I might let the students come up and they pull a word from the box. So Neptune is number 4. Uranus, number 7. And they're doing this, checking on the iPad, looking at the pictures to try to figure out which one is which. Venus is 2. Saturn. Jupiter. Earth. I'm trying to find the words. Mars. And it's hiding in here. We have to find the word in the toolbox. Oh, there it is. And then Mercury. Okay, so we do that, and then we go through using the NASA app on the iPad would answer these questions. Has a superheated daytime, is Mercury, Neptune, takes 165 Earth years to orbit, Uranus is the first seen with the aid of a telescope, Jupiter is the largest, Earth is the only place where life is known to exist, Saturn was first gazed at by Galileo through telescope, Venus appears to be the brightest in the sky, and then Mars has seasons like Earth. Okay, so that would conclude our class lesson. And then of course the students I would assign them each what their celestial body is. They would start their research and begin their report. At the conclusion of this lesson, I observed that all students met the objectives that I set. The class learned the order of the planets as well as information about other bodies in our solar system. Each student used the apps and books to research an assigned topic to pre-write, draft, edit, and submit a written report. Then we later presented these in a question-answer session in class. Each student also did paint a styrofoam model of their body for enrichment opportunities. Every student passed the summative assessment with at least an 80%. My instructional goals were met as I was able to help the students learn to research and practice strengthening their writing skills and learn to properly cite sources through the use of a bibliography. I was also able to provide reteach opportunities as well as the enrichment of painting the solar system. I did have to alter my plans as we progressed. I had to adjust the timeline according to student progress. There were other things that limited time we had to research on some days. I also had to allow some students to locate additional resources because the ones I provided for them did not fully answer the questions that I expected of them. If I could teach this lesson again, I wouldn't change too many things. If given the opportunity, I would take the students to the library to locate and check out their own books for research. This would allow the students to improve their skills on using a library catalog well as learning how to locate source resources. Okay, the references I used were the NASA iPad app, the Planets iPad app, and then the Solar System Promethean chart that I retrieved from PrometheanPlanet.com. Thank you very much.